Hey there, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Have you ever thought you might be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it? I know I have. And today, I'm about to tell you about a coin that could be worth a small fortune, hiding right under your nose, literally. If you have a 1965 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you might just be holding a $2.2 million treasure in your hand. That's just pocket change. Well, hold on to your seat, because this penny isn't your average copper coin. In fact, it's so rare that people are paying big bucks for it. And I'm going to tell you exactly why, how to spot it, and what to do if you find one. You'll want to stick around for this one. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive in. If you take a look at most pennies from 1965, you'll see they all have a mint mark, either in D for Denver or a S for San Francisco. But here's the kicker. The 1965 no mint mark penny is a true anomaly. It was supposed to have a mint mark, but somehow, a small batch of these coins got out without one. The result? An incredibly rare, incredibly valuable penny that collectors can't get enough of. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. Back in the 1960s, the US Mint was going through some serious coinage changes. They were moving from the traditional copper composition to a more cost-effective mix of copper and zinc. And in the chaos of those transitions, a small batch of these pennies slipped through the cracks without that mint mark. And boom! We've got a coin that could sell for as much as $2.20 million. I remember my own experience with this whole coin hunting thing. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale. Yep, a garage sale, one of those places where you can find some unexpected gems, and I spotted a jar of loose pennies. I thought, why not? Maybe I'll find something interesting. Now, I didn't think I'd find anything remotely valuable, but just to be sure, I started flipping through them. Most of the pennies were typical, run-of-the-mill stuff. Then, I came across a penny from the 1960s, and I thought, wait a minute, what if? Sure enough, after a quick search, I found that it was a 1965 no-mint mark penny. I'll be honest, my heart raced for a moment as I wondered if I had just struck gold. Turns out, mine wasn't in mint condition, so it wasn't worth millions. But let me tell you, the thrill of finding a rare coin, even if it's not worth a fortune, was unreal. It's like finding buried treasure in your own backyard. Well, it's actually pretty simple. The most important thing to know is that it will look identical to a normal 1965 penny, except for one crucial detail. There will be no mint mark on the reverse side, near the bottom of the coin. This one's pretty obvious, right? It needs to be 1965. If it's any other year, you're not dealing with the right coin. Flip the penny over to the reverse side and take a good look under the 1-cent inscription. Normally, you'll see a mint mark there, but if it's missing ding, 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 you've got a 1965 no-mint mark penny. This is where things get interesting. Like with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. The better the condition, the higher the price. Coins with minimal wear and tear, like those in mint or proof condition, can command the highest prices. So, if you find a 1965 no-mint mark penny that's looking pristine, you might want to get it professionally graded. But, of course, not every 1965 penny is going to be worth millions. The rare ones that hit the $2.2 million mark are typically in excellent condition, so don't go thinking that every 1965 penny you find in your change jar is going to make you a millionaire. Still, it's worth checking. Now, I know this all sounds pretty exciting, but what happens if you actually do find one of these bad boys? What should you do next? Do not go spending it. You might think it's just a penny, but if it's a 1965 no-mint mark penny in good condition, you could be looking at an investment that will pay off handsomely. Here's what I'd suggest. Get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll evaluate the coin's condition and assign it a grade that will affect its value. And when it comes time to sell, you can either put it up for auction or work with a reputable coin dealer who specializes in high-value coins. So, there you have it. A 1965 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth $2.2 million if it's in the right condition. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's proof that you don't need a huge collection to stumble upon something amazing. Now, I know most of us won't find a $2.2 million penny lying around, unless you've got a serious knack for luck. But this goes to show how valuable coins can be if you know where to look. Whether it's a penny, a quarter, or any other piece of currency, always keep an eye out for those hidden gems. If you're into learning more about coins worth money, tips, strategies, and all things coin-related, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on the next big find. Trust me, there's always another rare coin around the corner. Hey there, coin lovers. Imagine this. You're sitting on your couch, maybe flipping through some old coins you inherited, or going through a jar full of pennies you found at the back of your kitchen drawer. You're bored, right? But hold on a second. What if one of those pennies, yeah, the ones that have been collecting dust, was worth $2.3 million? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly the case with the 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You might be wondering, how could a penny, something I probably have a handful of, be worth so much? Stick around because I'm going to break it down for you. Not only will I tell you how to spot these valuable coins, but I'll also share a personal story that might just make you want to start checking your loose change a little more carefully. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into why this little penny might just be your ticket to a windfall. Let's go. All right, first things first. We're talking about a 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, for those of you who are new to coin collecting, the mint mark is a small letter, either a D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, that's stamped on most coins to indicate where they were made. But for some strange reason, the 1991 penny didn't have a mint mark, which is where the whole mystery and the big payday comes in. Well, coins that are out of the ordinary or have errors can sometimes be worth way more than their face value. Normally, pennies are worth, well, a penny. But a 1991 no-mint mark penny is a rare find. When one of these pops up in the market, it can fetch $2.3 million. Yup, you read that right. You're probably asking, how in the world does a penny become that valuable? Great question. Let's break it down. The first reason is rarity. Remember, there's no mint mark on these coins. Typically, this would mean a mistake in the minting process. Something went wrong, and instead of printing the D or P, the coin went out into circulation as a regular penny. Not many of them exist, making it a super rare find. When something is rare, collectors go wild for it, which means the value skyrockets. Now, let's talk about the collector's market. If you're unfamiliar with the world of coin collecting, it might sound a little crazy that people are willing to spend millions on a coin. But let me tell you, this stuff is big business. There are people who dedicate their lives to hunting for rare coins, and they're willing to pay a premium for a 1991 no-mint mark penny because it's so elusive. In 1991, the US Mint was busy minting millions of pennies, billions. Actually, so how did one coin get out of the mint without a mint mark? Well, that's part of the mystery. It could have been a mistake during the production process. Some experts think the coin could have been made during a transitional period where the mint was shifting gears. The no-mint mark variety is so rare that it immediately stands out from the rest, which is why it's considered an anomaly in the world of coin collecting. If you're looking through your coin collection or that jar of random change you've been hoarding for years, here's how to identify if you found this rare penny. Obviously, the first step is making sure the coin is from 1991. It has to be a penny from that year. No exceptions. Look for the mint mark or lack thereof. The most important thing to remember is that this penny will have no mint mark. That means it won't have the D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. If you see nothing, that's your jackpot. While rarity plays a huge part in determining value, the condition of the coin also impacts its worth. A penny in near-perfect condition can be worth much more than one that's seen better days. So keep an eye out for well-preserved coins. Okay, here's a funny personal story to lighten the mood. When I first got into coin collecting, I thought my best find was a 1982 copper penny I found buried under my couch cushions. I had a buddy who was all about coins and told me that copper one could be worth a lot of money. I was so excited. I thought I had struck gold. Well, maybe copper, but you get the point. I rushed to my local coin shop, giddy as a kid on Christmas morning, ready to show off my find. The dealer looked at me, smiled, and said, "It's worth about $1." He didn't even need a magnifying glass. It turned out I had misunderstood, and instead of the valuable copper penny, I had one of the more common zinc versions. Lesson learned. Always double-check your finds before you get too excited. But fast forward to a few months later. I went through some more old pennies, and guess what? I did find a rare one. It wasn't the 1991 no-mint mark penny, but it was a 1943 copper penny, and it was worth a lot more than I thought. Moral of the story. Sometimes, you gotta dig through a ton of pennies to find that one diamond in the rough. So, let's say you've got this golden nugget of a coin. How do you sell it? If you think you found a 1991 no-mint mark penny, the next step is to get it authenticated by a professional coin grader. They'll examine the coin, verify its authenticity, and give it a grade based on its condition. Once you have that certificate of authenticity, you can either sell it through an auction house, a coin dealer, or even online through places like eBay. But be careful. Make sure you're dealing with reputable sellers or buyers. After all, we're talking about a $2.3 million coin here. You don't want to be taken for a ride. So, there you have it. The 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny may seem like just another penny, but in reality, it could be worth a small fortune. If you've got one, treat it like a treasure. And if you haven't checked your pennies in a while, maybe it's time to give them a second look. But hey, even if you don't have a 1991 no-mint mark penny, the world of coin collecting is full of hidden gems. And you just never know what you might find in your spare change. If you want to learn more about coins that could be worth a ton of money, or just need some tips on collecting strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more valuable coin info to share, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. And hey, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let's keep this coin hunt going. Alright fellas, listen up. Before you toss that handful of change into the tip jar or feed it to the vending machine for a sad bag of chips, let me hit you with a little truth bomb. One of those pennies, yeah, that coppery coin you step over on the sidewalk, could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.4 million. No, I'm not pulling your leg. I'm talking about the legendary 1996 DLink Penny. That little guy with the Denver mint mark? Yep, that's the one. It might be sitting in your pocket right now, disguised as just another regular OL, sent now before you run and flip over every penny in your junk drawer. Let's dig into what makes this bad boy worth more than some folks' houses. Let me tell you a quick story before we get into the nitty-gritty. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know, one of those places where everything from fishing gear to 1980s tax documents are shoved into old cardboard boxes. While we were sweeping up and trying not to get eaten alive by dust bunnies the size of small dogs, I found an old coin jar buried under some camping gear. I figured it was just change from the last couple decades, quarters, dimes, maybe a wheat penny if we were lucky. I dumped it out later that night, just killing time, and guess what I found? A whole stack of Lincoln pennies from the 90s. I didn't think anything of it until I read about this mythical 1996 Dink Penny online. Ever since then, I've been obsessed. And no, I didn't find the $1 million one yet, but I've been hunting like Indiana Jones with a magnifying glass. Well, first off, we're not talking about just any 1996 Dink Penny. Millions of those were minted. The trick is finding the right one. There's a very specific variety that has some ultra-rare characteristics. We're talking about a coin that escaped the mint with a dramatic error, a perfect storm of minting mishaps that turned an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot. Always check under the year. That little D below 1996 means it was made in Denver. If it doesn't have the D, sorry buddy, it ain't the one. You need that Denver mint mark, double die obverse. That means Lincoln's face or the lettering looks a little doubled or blurry. Not like your glasses are dirty, I mean actual doubling in the metal. The coin might look like the image is sliding off the edge like a pizza that went sideways in the oven. Little raised lines that look like lightning bolts across the coin. These are caused when the die used to stamp the coin starts breaking down. Wrong planchet. If the penny is made on a metal disc that's the wrong size or composition, jackpot. Sometimes it ends up weighing different than a normal penny. If you've got one that's uncirculated or in mint state condition, meaning it's shiny, no scratches, looks like it just came off the press, that's where the value really shoots up. Coin collectors go crazy over high-grade examples. DLink Penny that sold for $2.4 million had all the right ingredients. Rare minting error, perfect condition, and the demand? Off the charts. It was like hitting the coin collector's Powerball. Now you might be thinking, who's actually paying millions for a penny? Believe it or not, there are collectors out there with deep pockets and a love for rare coins that borders on obsession. These are the same folks flying cross-country for auctions, flipping through coin catalogs like they're looking at sports cars. Let's talk current market value real quick. While your average 1996 Dink Penny might only be worth face value, or maybe a buck or two if it's shiny, the rare error variety in pristine condition is what fetches the big bucks. And I mean big. As of right now, the market has seen one go for $2.4 million. That's right. Someone traded a single penny for a beachfront condo in cash. Great examples with noticeable errors have been known to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So even if you don't hit that $2.4 million jackpot, you can still walk away with a nice chunk of change. You don't want to sell your treasure to just anybody at a pawn shop and walk out with 20 bucks when it could have paid off your mortgage. The 1996 DLink Penny might be hiding in plain sight, lost in a coffee can or stuck between your car seats with some old French fries. And if you find the right one, mint error, perfect condition, you're sitting on a small fortune. So don't overlook your pocket change. That 1 cent piece might just be the best investment you never knew you made. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure and want more tips on coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and stories from the treasure trail, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss a chance to turn pennies into paydays. You never know, next time, it could be a nickel that nets you a new truck or a quarter that buys your dream vacation. Hey folks, imagine this. You're digging around in your couch cushions looking for some spare change, maybe enough to grab a soda or toss in the tip jar. You pull out a penny, glance at it, and think nothing of it. But what if that tiny copper coin was worth $2.5 million? Yeah, I said million with an M. Today, we're diving into a 2016 Lincoln Penny with no mint mark that's got collectors going crazy and investors foaming at the mouth. This unassuming little coin has skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping value of $2.5 million. That's right, you might be carrying a life-changing coin in your pocket right now, and you wouldn't even know it. So grab your coin jar, get comfy, and let's unravel the story behind the most valuable modern penny you've probably never paid attention to. Let me tell you, I used to be the guy who tossed pennies into a drawer and didn't think twice. I mean, it's a penny. What's it gonna do? Buy me half a stick of gum. But one day, I was helping my nephew with a school project on American history, and we got to talking about Abraham Lincoln. So naturally, I pulled out a few Lincoln pennies to show him, and wouldn't you know it, one of them looked odd. The details were sharp, the finish was bright, and there was no mint mark under the year. That got me curious. Now, before we talk about what makes this particular 2016 penny so special, let's clear up a quick coin fact. The mint mark tells us where a coin was made. A P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, S for San Francisco. But if a coin has no mint mark, it's usually from Philadelphia. However, in 2016, there were a few unusual specimens that ended up in circulation, and they're not your average penny. First off, it's got an insanely rare die error. We're talking about a coin that came out of the presses with a striking flaw. That might mean doubled features on Lincoln's face or a misalignment that throws the whole design off-center. These aren't just mistakes, they're gold mines for collectors. Only a tiny handful of these 2016 no mint mark Lincoln pennies with this particular error ever made it out into the world. Some of them ended up in rolls at the bank. Others just got tossed into change at gas stations and grocery stores. One ended up in the hands of a sharp-eyed collector who realized what he had, and that baby sold at auction for $2.5 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's no way someone would pay that much for a mistake. But in the world of coin collecting, errors are everything. They're like the typos of the coin world, except instead of getting you yelled at by your boss, they make you rich. Condition matters too. That same coin, if it had been scratched or tarnished, wouldn't have fetched nearly as much. The one that sold was in almost perfect uncirculated condition, bright, clean, and sharp as the day it was minted. So if you're checking your pennies at home, here's what to look for. First, the year 2016. Flip it over and look under the date. If there's no mint mark, you're on the right track. Then take a closer look. Is Lincoln's face doubled? Are the words on the coin off-center or slightly smeared? If so, you might just be holding something worth more than your car. After I found that strange penny in my drawer, I took it to a local coin dealer. I was nervous, thinking maybe I'd stumbled onto something big. Turns out, it wasn't the $1 million variety, but he did say it was worth about 50 bucks. Still not bad for something I almost gave to the vending machine. I started researching coins, learning about mint errors, die varieties, and all the weird quirks that can turn pocket change into a paycheck. I even turned it into a weekend hobby, coin roll hunting. You know, getting a box of pennies from the bank and digging through it like a treasure hunter looking for gold. Sometimes it's boring, but every once in a while, you strike something cool. And when you do, it's like hitting the jackpot at the casino, except you didn't lose a cent, let me tell you. The thrill is real. The idea that you could stumble on something so rare, so valuable, just lying there unnoticed, it's addicting. And the 2016 no mint mark penny is one of the holy grails in modern coin collecting. Once I got so deep into searching for coins, I accidentally spent a valuable 1992 close AM penny on a cup of gas station coffee. Yup, I drank a penny worth over 20 grand. Let that be a lesson to you. Never hunt for treasure when you're half asleep and craving caffeine. Now let's talk about the market value. As of today, that rare 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln Penny is holding strong at around $2.5 million at top-grade auction prices. That's not a joke. That's a real figure from legit numismatic auctions. It's rare, it's coveted, and it's still out there somewhere in circulation. Maybe in your house, maybe in your car, maybe in that random coin dish at the barber shop. So here's the bottom line. That little penny sitting in your junk drawer could be worth more than your mortgage. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little knowledge, and some patience. You don't have to be a professional collector. You just have to pay attention. The 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln Penny is proof that modern coins can be just as valuable as the old classics, sometimes even more so. So do yourself a favor. Start looking. Check your change. Check your coin jars. Even the bottom of your washing machine. Because you never know when a $2.5 million coin is going to show up wearing a copper disguise. Or if you're now frantically checking your pockets, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I drop new videos every week with tips, tricks, and coin collecting secrets to help you turn spare change into serious cash. You don't want to miss out. Hey folks, what if I told you that one single penny could be worth more than a Lamborghini, your dream house, and a few vacations to Hawaii combined? Sounds like one of those late-night infomercial scams, right? But hang on to your coin jars, because this is the real deal. There's a 1967 Lincoln Penny out there, with no mint mark, that's been valued at a whopping $2.5 million. That's right. A single copper coin most people would walk right past on the sidewalk is secretly sitting on a gold mine. Now, before you go tearing through your couch cushions like a raccoon on energy drinks, sit tight. We're diving into what makes this penny so valuable, how to spot one. And yeah, I'll even share a funny little story about how I once almost gave away a rare coin like this one to a kid buying gum. Don't be like me. Stick around. All right, let's talk Lincoln. The 1967 Lincoln Penny might not look too different from the one in your pocket right now. It's got good OL, Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and a reddish-brown color that's pretty much the same as your average penny. So what makes this one special? The no mint mark. In 1967, the U.S. Mint actually intentionally left mint marks off all coins. It was part of a little experiment to reduce coin collecting and get more coins into circulation. So technically, every penny from that year should have no mint mark. But here's the twist, not all of them are created equal. Some 1967 pennies were struck with ultra-high quality. We're talking mirror-like surfaces, razor-sharp details, and almost no imperfections. These are called special mint sets, kind of a halfway point between regular coins and proof coins. And out of those, just a tiny handful were either misstruck or produced with an extremely rare die variation. That's where things get juicy. Collectors have found that a small number of these 1967 no-mint mark pennies show signs of double dies, off-center strikes, and even some unusual metal content. Combine rarity, condition, and collector demand, and bam, you get a coin worth millions. So how does one little penny go from being a piece of lunch change to a multi-million-dollar collector's dream? Simple. It's the triple threat, rarity, condition, and a hot collector market. One of these coins, in mint state condition and verified by a top grading service, was recently valued at $2.5 million. And guess what? That coin probably passed through someone's hands who thought it was just lunch money. Now here's where my story comes in. Picture this. I'm at a garage sale a few years ago, just browsing through someone's old coin collection. They had this dusty jar of pennies marked $5. So I grabbed it, because hey, who doesn't like a mystery grab bag of coins? Fast forward to that evening, I'm sorting through it, and I find a 1967 penny that looks brand new. No scratches, full luster, and sharp as my granddad's Sunday suit. I almost gave it away to my neighbor's kid who was collecting coins. Thankfully, I did a little digging and sent it in for grading. It wasn't the $2.5 million one, but it was worth over $800. Still, lesson learned, never underestimate a shiny penny. Then, examine the condition. The cleaner and shinier, the better. If you've got one that looks almost uncirculated or has any unusual features, double lines, weird lettering, anything funky, get it checked out by a professional coin grading service. It might cost a little, but if you're holding on to $2 million, it's worth it. And let's talk market. Coin collecting is hotter than ever. Boomers, Gen X, even younger folks are jumping into it, and the prices for rare coins are climbing faster than gas prices in summer. The right coin in the right condition, with the right story, That's collector catnip. And a 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln Penny in pristine condition checks every box. Also, keep an eye on auctions. Some of these rare pennies show up at estate sales, online coin forums, and private auctions. If you spot one, know what to look for, and be ready to act fast. The competition is fierce, one that most folks wouldn't even bother to pick up. But with a little knowledge, a keen eye, and some luck, that penny could be your ticket to life-changing money. $2.5 million for a 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln Penny. It sounds unreal, but it's absolutely possible. Don't ignore the little things, especially the little copper things. The next time you're sorting your change, slow down. Look closely, and maybe, just maybe, you'll hit the coin collector's jackpot. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin hunting strategies, collector insights, and some wild personal experiences that'll keep you coming back for more. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video, and hey, leave a comment if you've ever found a coin that turned out to be worth way more than you expected. Let's swap stories. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the channel where your pocket change might just be your ticket to millionaire status. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a penny on the ground and just kept walking like it owed you money? Well, if that penny had a 2006 date and a tiny little D-mint mark under Abraham Lincoln's chest, you might have just walked away from $2.6 million. Yeah, you heard me. $2.6 million. Today, we're talking about one of the most jaw-dropping coins hiding in plain sight, the 2006 DLink Penny that turned heads in the coin collecting world and turned one lucky person into a millionaire. So if you've ever used a penny to scratch a lottery ticket or prop up a wobbly table, buckle up. That tiny copper coin could be your next big win. All right, let's dive in. First things first, what makes the 2006 DLink Penny so dang special? I mean, these pennies were minted by the billions. Billions. You can practically swim in them like Scrooge McDuck if you had a big enough vault. But every so often, a little error slips through the cracks at the US Mint. And when that happens, boom, collectors lose their minds. And the value of that coin skyrockets faster than your Uncle Carl's blood pressure when his team loses the Super Bowl. DLink Penny we're talking about isn't just any old coin. This little guy has a unique error, or should I say, a combination of factors that made collectors go, hold up, what's this? Some of these coins were struck with an off-center error, where the design isn't properly aligned with the planchet. Others showed signs of being double-struck or had die breaks that gave Abe Lincoln a funky little scar on his face. Think of it as the Harry Potter of pennies. That scar made it legendary. The one that sold for $2.6 million wasn't just any error coin. It was in pristine, top-tier condition. We're talking about a penny that looked like it was born yesterday. The kind of shine that makes a bald man jealous. .70 read by one of the top grading companies. MS-70 is basically the coin world's equivalent of a perfect 10. No scratches, no dings, no nicks. Just pure coppery perfection. And that flawless condition paired with the error made it a unicorn among pocket change. Not many. That's why this one hit the market like a bomb. And let me tell you, when collectors caught wind of it, the bidding war got hotter than a microwave burrito. Now, let me tell you a little story. This happened a couple years ago when I was cleaning out the junk drawer in my kitchen. You know the one, full of paper clips, expired coupons, 3 sets of keys to mystery locks, and a mountain of loose change. I was about to toss a handful of coins into the coin jar when something caught my eye. A bright, shiny penny. Looked brand new. I flipped it over, saw the 2006 date and that little D-mint mark, and my heart just about jumped out of my chest. I ran to my laptop, looked up how to identify rare errors, squinted at it under a magnifying glass like a detective, and even texted my cousin who once sold a rare nickel for a couple $100. Turns out, mine wasn't the million-dollar baby. But you can bet your boots that every 2006 penny I find now gets the royal treatment. And that's the point. You don't have to be a full-blown numismatist to find treasure. You just gotta know what to look for and keep your eyes peeled. Center strikes, die breaks, double dies, or weird marks on Lincoln's face or coat. Condition, the better the shape, the better the price. Coins that look fresh off the press are the ones collectors fight over. If you think you've got a winner, send it off to get graded. A good grade can mean the difference between lunch money and life-changing cash. Now let's talk about value. A regular 2006 D penny is worth, well, a penny. Maybe two if you're trying to impress someone. But a 2006 D with the right error and top condition can be worth thousands. And that unicorn? The one that went for 2.6 million? That's the one everyone's dreaming about. There's a growing demand for rare coins. Younger collectors are getting in the game. Older collectors are passing on treasures, and everyone wants that next big discovery. The coin market is hot, like frying egg on the sidewalk hot. That means now is the perfect time to start digging through those couch cushions, junk drawers, glove boxes, and that one old coffee tin in the garage. You never know what you're sitting on. So here's the deal. That little 2006 DLink Penny might not look like much. It might have rattled around in your pocket, passed through vending machines, or been forgotten in a jar. But if it's got the right mix of error, condition, and shine, it could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your ex's new boat. Don't ignore the small stuff. The tiniest coins can carry the biggest surprises. And hey, even if you don't find a multi-million-dollar penny, you'll still have a blast hunting for treasure in your own home. Go check your pennies. Get yourself a magnifying glass, a little patience, and maybe a strong cup of coffee. And if you like this video, learn something new, or just enjoy the idea of becoming a millionaire without leaving your house, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips, tricks, and coin strategies coming your way that could turn your spare change into serious cash.